Understanding all truths, the path from chaos to absolute liberation.
Welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are going to dive straight into a topic that is both profoundly hardcore and guaranteed to bring you an instant aha moment. We will be unpacking an incredibly practical life guide, one you can apply directly to every single aspect of your daily existence, from eating and drinking to sleeping and waking. What makes this content so special is that it all stems from the teachings and oral discourses of the Venerables at the Buddha Walk Association of Australia. We have captured the core essence of their teachings to share it with you, pure and authentic. Are you ready? Let's jump right in. Why do we keep ruining our own peace? Let us start by asking ourselves a deeply penetrating question. Why do we constantly end up making mess after mess in our daily lives, single-handedly sabotaging our own inner peace? Do you often feel that the more you struggle and fuss, the more exhausted you get? To untangle this knot, we are going to follow the path laid out by the Venerable. It is a fascinating journey that will take us from the chaotic curtain of ignorance all the way to absolute, multi-dimensional freedom. We'll be breaking this down into 6 key steps. The cost of ignorance. Thorough understanding of all truths. Observation as it truly is in meditative absorption. Elevating the dimension of life. Standard operating procedures in daily life. Absolute freedom and liberation. Part E. The cost of ignorance. Simply put, ignorance means lacking genuine understanding, and it comes at a devastating cost. Let us take health as an example to illustrate the stark difference between guessing and truly knowing. The Venerable explicitly highlighted that many people blindly jump on trends, taking all sorts of multivitamin supplements. What is the result? Instead of absorbing them, they end up causing harm to their bodies. Why? Because they don't understand the underlying reality. Take vitamin B role, for instance. If you don't realize that it is involved in overeat by enzymatic reactions in your body, and that a deficiency can directly cause extreme irritability and physical discomfort, you won't take it seriously. You wait until one day your bodily systems suffer a complete breakdown and fall into chaos, and by then, regret is far too late. It isn't just nutrition, our daily lives require this exact precision everywhere. Take something as simple as cooking rice. You have to get the ratio of rice, water, and heat just right. Too much water yields porridge, too much rice leaves it undercooked. Guesswork simply won't cut it. By the same token, wearing a heavy winter coat on a hot summer day isn't going to be comfortable, and applying the wrong formula to a math problem will inevitably yield the wrong answer. If you wouldn't dare pour water recklessly when cooking rice, why would you think you can blindly blunder through life while ignoring its objective laws and still expect a perfect outcome? The Venerable provide a remarkably precise definition for the state of reckless blundering ignorance of ID. Ignorance is when you haven't the faintest idea how things actually work, yet you are emboldened to act, indulge in wild thoughts, and behave recklessly. Most of the time, we live in this very state of ignorance, busy making a flurry of chaotic moves that yield a total mess, only to make up excuses to fool ourselves in the end. We need to break out of this costly trap of ignorance immediately. That brings us to our second part. Part R. Thorough understanding of all truths. To break free, we must thoroughly understand the reality of all things. A core passage from Volume R of the Mahasanapta tries as the definitive tone for our discussion today. True joy and tranquility are predicated upon deep and precise understanding. If you lack a thorough understanding and only grasp things half-heartedly, you cannot generate true joy, Dharma joy. Only when you have researched and comprehended a matter down to its absolute core will true, unshakable joy well up from within your heart. This precise cognition triggers an awakening domino effect. Thorough understanding of all truths. You truly comprehend the reality of things. R. Joy in mind. Deep understanding naturally gives rise to genuine internal happiness. Pliancy and ease. Because of this heartfelt joy, your mind and body enter a state of light ease, no longer irritable or heavy. Abiding in Samadhi. With the sense of ease, you can smoothly settle into deep meditative absorption. Samadhi. Knowing and seeing things as they truly are. In this state, you see the essence of everything directly, entirely free from illusion and obstacles. Part 3. Observation as it truly is in meditative absorption. Now that we have cultivated this capacity to observe reality as it is, let us look at what is actually playing out inside our minds. When you truly observe your inner world, You'll be astonished to discover that our daily idle thoughts, our delusions, are completely useless and harmful. Whiling away your time on wild, random thoughts is like chasing dust motes around a room, wasting precious life on imagined futures that don't even exist. The Venerable offered a brilliant metaphor. Clinging to a delusion is like wrapping your arms around a tree and holding on for dear life. Imagine that picture in your mind. You refuse to let go of the tree. You can't move forward, nor can you step back. Your entire being is completely paralyzed right there on the spot. This is called entanglement and bondage, being rendered utterly immobile. What happens if we simply let go of that tree? That leads us to our fourth session, the mind-expanding concept. Part C, elevating the dimension of life. In physical terms, elevating your dimension is actually a continuous process of letting go. Each dimension, when you cling fiercely to that tree stuck on a single delusion, you are trapped at a single point. You have virtually zero freedom. R&D dimension, when you let go of that point, you step up into a line. You can now move forward and backward. SRD dimension, if you keep letting go and opening your mind, you expand into 3 dimensions. You can move forward, backward, left, right, up, and down. Non-action ultimately. When you discard all limitations and dimensions altogether, you enter a state of non-action. No dimension can bound you anymore. You have achieved ultimate, absolute freedom. It sounds a bit like advanced physics, doesn't it? Let's bring it back down to earth and see how it applies to our everyday lives. Part U, standard operating procedures in daily life. The Venerable down-to-earthly borrowed the concept from modern business management, substandard operating procedure. This means that when dealing with real-life events like marriage or raising children, you must have a clear, structured framework based on objective laws. Truth be told, most people do not have an SOP for their lives. Without an SOP, you simply follow your fleeting feelings and make reckless moves based on delusion, returning right back to the chaos and ignorance we discussed earlier. Take marriage, for example. We must understand that marriage is not buying ownership of a product. You do not own your partner. You are both independent individuals, walking side by side on life's journey to support each other. The Venerable humorously dismantled the Chinese characters for marriage. Ji, tying a knot, entangling tightly, hun, dizziness, losing one's head. If you lack wisdom and try to forcibly entangle and possess your partner in a relationship, then after tying that stubborn knot, you are bound to spend a lifetime dizzy, confused, and miserable. Speaking of mutual influence, the Venerable shared a striking real story about a Snow White cat. Originally a gentle, pure white cat, it not only grew discolored patches on its fur, but its temperament became extraordinarily violent to the point of scratching its owner, who had cared for it all along. This example vividly demonstrates the power of frequency resonance. It reveals a sobering truth: the environment we stay in and the people we deeply bind ourselves with can fundamentally alter our intrinsic traits. If you constantly absorb negative energy, your entire being will be transformed for the worse. Part O, achieving absolute freedom and liberation. Once you have established your life as SOP and let go of the trees you've been clinging to, those wild delusions, you will discover your true self. In Buddhist philosophy, this true self is referred to as Brahman, purity, an inherently untainted state. You can imagine it as a pristine, dust-free computer screen. This screen can play any life movie, experiencing all kinds of life scenarios. But whether the movie playing is a comedy or a tragedy, the screen itself remains permanently clean and unblemished. You are inherently pure. As long as you don't allow chaotic delusions to obstruct your view, you can respond to everything with absolute clarity. When you truly reach this realm, everything resets to zero. The tangled messes and past entanglements vanish into thin air. Everything that needed to be done has been accomplished, and you will no longer be dragged down by past karma. You reach the ultimate goal known as not experiencing further existence. Simply put, you are free. Nothing can limit or affect you ever again. A final question. As we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with one soul-searching question to reflect on. Now that you hold the standard operating procedure for multidimensional freedom, are you truly ready to let go of that tree you've been clinging to for so long?